And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Father Joseph Salerno is our guest. Father is the pastorate of Our Lady of Lourdes and also at Our Lady of the Rosary on Burstone Road. We're talking to him about the church coming back after all this closing down. And Father, you were mentioning to me during the break that you've just come into possession of a new machine, yes?
We did. It will help us with the sanitation of the church. And it's our responsibility to sanitize the church completely after every service. So we have purchased a machine that will help us do that, I believe, in less than an hour in between services. So those who choose to worship with us, there may be some changes in the future. Our schedule may be nuanced just a little bit in order for that sanitation process to take place thoroughly and make sure that the building is as clean as possible for the next group of congregants who gather.
Father, I know you've been doing some things outside. You had movies you were showing out in the parking lot. There was a party for you out in the parking lot because you were celebrating, how many years was it?
40 years in ministry. It hardly seems possible. It hardly seems possible.
But they had a nice party for you out in the parking lot?
Oh, it was kind of a spontaneous gathering of parishioners who discovered that it was my 40th anniversary, and probably 100 people or more gathered and all honked their horns, and I had no idea what was going on, and it really was kind of a boost, I think, for everyone just to see each other and to be with each other, even if it was for a short period of time.
Well, I've got a reason for asking about those outside activities, but let me ask you this question first. What about the Bazaar, which is usually every August?
It is every August, and unfortunately we had to make a decision that this year there will not be at least 3 days of Bazaar. We're in discussion that later on, maybe in the early fall, we will have a parish festivity day with something like a major raffle and maybe a chicken barbecue, and that we can gather for that in one day and just be with each other and celebrate our community of faith together. The raffle is going to be an extremely important part of the financial support of both the parish and of Notre Dame Elementary School. So we hope that let me be honest about it, the money that people would spend at the annual Bazaar, maybe they hopefully will spend in purchasing a raffle ticket, and we hope to give away a $10,000 grand prize.
Well, the reason I'm going in this direction is because people not going to church, that means there's not a plate being passed around every Sunday. Now you're not going to have a Bazaar, which is the signature fundraising event for Our Lady of Lourdes. This has got to really be impactful on your, I hate to say bottom line, but it takes money to run a parish.
Well, obviously, to open the doors and turn on the lights and have heat or air conditioning, or to pay our staff who does much of the work of keeping our parish campus in shape and serving the people and their needs. Yeah, all of it takes money. So people have been kind and gracious, many of our parishioners, in the financial support of the parish in the last 3 months. But while our many parishioners have contributed, our collections are not what they once were, and so all the more the importance of the raffle and of the chicken barbecue, I hope that will take place in the fall. And I think we're going to have to trim our budget a little bit, and some of the things we're accustomed to may not be as readily available to us in the immediate future. Hopefully in the long run, people who are strongly committed to the parish will help in that area.
Talking about things that we've become accustomed to, we're accustomed to having a choir. Is the choir going to be back?
That's one of the unfortunate consequences of the virus. We will have music, we will have cantors, but right now choirs are not only not encouraged, they're actually prohibited in the Diocese of Syracuse. Because with singing, the spread of the virus is even more possible and probable, since they use their voices to the very best of their ability and for volume. So you won't see a choir immediately, but hopefully the choir will return in the long run. We have such a tremendous music ministry,
Yeah.
such a tremendous choir, that I hope it will be back as soon as possible.
The other things that are going away for a while anyway are daily masses, yes?
We just resumed daily masses, at least in opening the doors. We were permitted to celebrate daily masses, but with only 10 or fewer people present. That's now changed under the guidance of our state, with now permitting 25% of our seating capacity. So today, for instance, we had about 30 people present to morning mass at 11:30, and we hope to see that keep growing.
So there'll be morning masses at 11:30 every day?
That's the hard part. Most days it will be 11:30, at least for the present. But if there are days when there are funerals, those funerals may take place of the morning mass, and that schedule may vary. I'll try to make people aware of that as much as possible.
Funerals, that has to have been just a terrible problem, not being able to gather together at someone's passing.
It's been, I think, very difficult for grieving families. There's no doubt about it, because whether they were in a funeral home for a service or came to church for a funeral mass, it could only be with 10 or less people. And that made it very difficult. I mean, sometimes we stretched that a little bit and allowed a few more people in than 10, but that was difficult. Again, now that has changed, and we can have several more people in church for funeral liturgies.
Mm. Have there been any weddings during all this, Father?
One, and I'm going to have one more wedding in June, and both of them took place the March wedding took place with 10 or less people present, and because the change just occurred to allow more people in, the couple I'm marrying in June had agreed to have only 10 people at their wedding, and then they're going to have a major celebration next year. So it's going to, for many couples, be a little bit different. They're going to get married with just a few people present and celebrate later on.
Okay. Father Joseph Salerno is our guest. Short break, right back.